UFC Vegas 105 is not a spectacular fight card on paper, but neither was UFC Vegas 104. But somehow we get these mediocre apex fight cards that end up delivering. My name is Angelo. This is We Want Picks. I'm going to give you my bets for UFC Vegas 105. Before we look forward, let's take a second and look backwards. UFC Mexico was a wild success across the board. We had all the right underdogs, all the right favorites, and all the right prop bets. Overall, we returned almost 7 units of net profit, a 31% ROI, and Big Papa Bo had a spectacular night. Safety parlay back on track. We had a couple of really nice parlays. Edgar Chairez and Brandon Moreno, Raul Rosas and David Martinez. I had a couple of sweet underdog bets on Kevin Borjas. We had a nice one on Manuel Torres when he flipped to an underdog. Overall, a very good fight card for us. And if you do want to check out all the picks, all the bets, and all the tools that we have, just go to WeWantPicks.com. What you're seeing here is every single bet that we had for last week. And not just from me, but me, Jacob, and BetSam. In this video, I cover a handful of those bets, and you can see the handful I covered did well, as did everything else at premium. So you're going to want to go to the website, check out what else we have to offer, and it's more than just some copy-paste bets. We have tools as well. Some of you like to do your own research. You want to deep dive. You want to dig into the stats. You want to use data to find prop bets. Well, one of those tools that can help you do that is called the Data Analyzer. The Data Analyzer has historical data on every single fighter on every fight card, and then you can stack filters. You can add, remove conditions, build yourself a nice little chart, click on a plot point to watch the actual fight tape yourself. If you want to see how many significant strikes did this person land in a loss, well, you can go ahead and see every single one of those fights, how many significant strikes they landed, and then go back and watch those fights that you would like. The Data Analyzer is not just for this event. It is built out for the future as well. You also have tools to things like the line movement tracker. This will give you the opening odds, the current odds, the win probability, and the line movement for every fighter on every card. Premium membership is wildly robust. There are bets, there are picks, there are tools, and there is everything you could ever need heading into a fight week. And on top of it, everything on the website is available inside of the app. Just search We Want Picks in the App Store, download the app, and you'll get a push notification. 15 minutes before filming this video, I sent a push notification for one of the bets that I placed. And anybody who got that notification can take a look. If they like the bet, they can jump on it. If they don't, they put their phone back down, they get on with their lives, but they didn't lose the closing line value. I'm going to show you Jacob's Underdog Lock of the Week, and you're going to see the insanity that can be line movement. And if you become a premium member, you'll unlock everything for an entire month, not just this event, but you get UFC Vegas 105, you get UFC 314, you get UFC Kansas City with the brand new main event of Carlos Prates and Kobe Covington. Every single thing that I just mentioned, a bunch of other things I did not mention, WeWantPicks.com, click Become a Member at the top. Let's take a look at this card as a whole. I'm going to talk about some favorites and some dogs, and then we'll get to the actual bets. If I'm looking at this card, I got to be honest with you, my safety parlay was almost going to be Loma Lookboonmee and Diona Barboza. And the only reason I didn't do that is I was waiting for UFC Mexico to end. I wanted to see how I ended up at UFC Mexico before I decided the next safety parlay. Jacob was actually like, dude, take Loma, take Diona. And when he gave me that, it was a week and a half ago when the odds were reasonable. They are very far gone, but I do think we have a rare situation where the two biggest favorites on the card being women makes some sense. Loma Lookboonmee should be able to win that fight. And I think a lot of people are assuming the wrong thing. A lot of people are assuming Istela Nunes sucks. She just broke her arm in half. She hasn't fought in 2 years. She's terrible, blah, blah, blah. Listen, Istela Nunes is a very good striker, as is Loma. But Loma is tiny, and I actually think she's going to have to lean on her wrestling here. I think Istela is going to have more success striking than people are going to assume, and then Loma's going to have to go to wrestling, which we know she has. I also like Diona. We'll skip Torres for a second because I think Diona is just the better, more aggressive fighter who is taking her career seriously. Her opponent, Diana Belbita, doesn't give a shit about her career. She's done. She's talking about the next phase. It's the last fight in her contract. She's already talking about what she's doing next. She's not talking about, I'm going to earn a new contract. She's talking about after UFC. She's done. She's cooked. The line reflects that value. Torres Vinny is somebody that I am pretty confident in. Yes, he's a tiny little specimen of a man. Just a little wee itty bitty man. I'm in a hotel. You can tell. I'm in New York City. I am traveling for work. If this was Torres Finney's room, you would see some steps right next to me going from the floor to the bed. He's a tiny little man, but he is jacked. He's got plenty of cardio, and he can wrestle his ass off. He's somebody that I've gotten more confident in as the week has gone on. I always picked him to win, but The more I look at it, and I understand that Valentine is creative, he's wild, he can make some stuff happen, but you need limbs. You need a neck to be able to choke. You need long arms to be able to armbar. I think Torres Finney being tiny and compact is actually going to work in his favor. Lerone Murphy is somebody that I've also gotten more confident in as the week has gone on. The reality is, yes, he got dropped in his last fight. Yes, he was rocked in a different fight right before that. But Lerone Murphy is the far better MMA fighter in general. We're at a point now where Josh Emmett is old. Josh Emmett's not particularly fast, and yes, he is insanely powerful. Power is the last thing to go, but Josh Emmett also loads up and sends huge, big, obvious power strikes. I think Lerone Murphy's going to be too good of a striker to get caught early. He's going to dance around, control the tempo, control the pace, and just be the better overall fighter. If we're looking at underdogs, listen, this is a tough-ass card. This is a tough-ass card, and there are a lot of potential underdogs on this card. Davy Grant is a dog that I like. Yeah, he's 39 years old. That's kind of a problem. But he is fighting a shoot-a-box fighter and a traditional shoot-a-box fighter. So while they are one of the most dangerous fight camps on planet Earth, they also have some conditioning holes, and they have some submissions off their back, but they can be held down because they play that old school game. Shoot-a-box is one of the only camps that are actively looking for submissions off of their back instead of trying to create scrambles and get up. Davy Grant is a good grappler. Davy Grant has been dropped in his last couple of fights, but he bounces back, he survives, and he makes it happen. I think as an underdog, Davy Grant can survive the early onslaught and then start to take over. Wins round 2, win round 3. If he has to grapple, he'll grapple. There'll be a couple of random submission attempts thrown off the bottom, and he'll survive and get it done. I like him as a dog. I picked him as a dog. Pedro Falcao is not somebody that I picked as a dog, but I do have a bet on him that I'll show you in a second. I think Pedro looked spectacular in his last fight. He stepped up on 3 days' notice, and he looked phenomenal on 3 days' notice. I think Pedro can win a couple of rounds here. I think he'd have some success. His opponent is also old. My biggest issue with Pedro is he just swings wild, he swings loose, and I think that he could be in a situation where a couple of those early takedowns are defended, then he's just swinging from the hips. It's going to be a weird fight. It's going to be a tricky fight, but I think Pedro can have some success here, and I'll show you what I mean with that with my bet. Vanessa Demopoulos was a favorite a few days ago. She is full-blown the underdog now, and if she flips to plus money, I will probably place a bet on her. The reality is, Vanessa Demopoulos is a good fighter. She's a striker. She wants to keep those strikes in your face. She wants to stay busy. She wants to fight inside the pocket and move forward. She can grapple as well. She's not dangerous at all. So the problem with any Vanessa Demopoulos fight is she has to fight for a full 15 minutes. The good news is she seems to win those close-ass decisions. She's fighting Talita Alencar. Talita Alencar is a grappler, an accomplished grappler, but a grappler with mediocre takedowns and less than average striking. So if Talita can't bully Vanessa to the ground, she's just going to get outstruck on the feet. If she does end up on the ground, Vanessa should be able to survive. You're going to see she was submitted in her last fight, but there was quite literally a foul. Her opponent, Jacqueline Cavalcante, was grabbing inside of the gloves. Very clear as day. Vanessa told the ref didn't give a shit, and ultimately grabbing inside the glove is what prevented Vanessa from ending up in a sweep and having some success there. And then Rhys McKee. Rhys McKee's a good underdog. He's winless in the UFC. He has struggled at times to make something happen, but Rhys McKee is a long, lean, dangerous striker who seems to be adding grappling to the mix. I can see Rhys McKee getting done. He's fighting a UFC newcomer, and what's been happening to newcomers in the UFC this year. Overall, this card is loaded with phenomenal underdogs. This feels like a very tricky and a very sketchy card, but we still found our spots. And here's a couple of spots for me. I'm easy this week. Last week, I had a bunch of bets. What was it, 6.5 units, something like that? This week, 3.5. An easy week. I'm not going crazy. It feels like a tough week. I'm not going to force anything. I'm not going to overextend. I've got a parlay. I got Kennedy and Chuck who should win. And then Loma Lookboonmee and the Nunes fight over 2.5. I think Loma wins. Loma's not very dangerous. So that should be good. This should be good. It's not the safety for a reason because I don't trust it. But it should be good. Minus 126 odds on that. Kennedy's a guy that a lot of people are very confident in. And the over on a lady fight where you think the lady who wins is not dangerous at all should be a good thing. Even Nunes can be dangerous at times, but I don't see Nunes getting the finish. Then we have Davy Grant plus 3.5 points and Pedro Falcao plus 3.5 points. Same logic for both of them. I think both of those gentlemen can outright win their fights, but if they don't outright win, I at least think they will have some success. Plus 3.5 is betting the spread. You're buying points on the judge's scorecard. And you buy enough points to effectively create a situation where your fighter just needs to win one round. Yeah, there's a million scenarios. They can get 10-8. There's a million scenarios. But in a normal, traditional fight where every round is pretty clear but nobody's about to die, they just need to win one round. I certainly think Davey Grant, in all likelihood, loses the first round, win round 2, win rounds 3. Boom, that bet hits. Pedro Falcao, I don't know which round he's going to win. But I think he can win a round. He set an incredible pace on 3 days' notice. I imagine he can get in Victor Henry's face, set somewhat of a pace, and steal a round at least on the judges' scorecards. Then I have a Reese McKee win inside the distance decision, no action. All of his wins are by finish. He is dangerous as shit. He can submit you. He can knock you out. He's also durable. Yeah, Hamzat finished him, but that was Hamzat. He's a pretty durable dude. He ate some massive shots from Chidi Njokuani in his last fight, and I think in this fight, he can defend some of the takedowns. If he gets to the ground, he can survive. If they're on the feet, he can eat a few big ones. I think Reese McKee can at least survive. If he survives, I get a full-blown refund. And if he wins by finish, I'll go ahead and get paid at plus 150. The only way I lose money on that bet is if Reese McKee gets finished, which is highly unlikely. And then we have the safety parlay at minus 123. Pretty decent odds on that. Safety parlay hit a little bit of a rough patch about a couple weeks. But last week, it hit. And last year, I think I lost 3 safety parlays in a row, 4 of 5. And the world was out to get me. Jump off a bridge, go play in traffic, you're fat. All the typical loser bullshit stuff when my one bet misses. Then what happened? I hit 9 in a row immediately from that spot. And it was 13 of 14 immediately from that spot. There are peaks and valleys in everything, including betting on the most volatile sport on planet Earth to bet on. If you want to check out what this safety parlay is, the safety parlay for UFC 314, for UFC Kansas City, WeWantPicks.com, click become a member. On the website, after you become a member, you're going to unlock 27 bets immediately. 27 units of bets immediately between myself, Bet Sam, and Jacob. 5 units of those bets are on future events, not this week. And the reason getting to bets early matters is because of line movement. If you look at Jacob's lock of the week, he picks an underdog every week. This week, he didn't like any actual underdogs for people, so he went out and got himself a plus money bet. When he bet on Diana Belbita and Dione Barboza under 2.5, he got it at plus 165. The odds on that right now are minus 140. The swing between plus 165 and minus 140 quite literally is enough money to pay for premium membership. Premium membership is $10 effing dollars. The difference between plus 165 and minus 140, depending on your bet size, could pay for an entire month's worth of premium access. And that's why you want the alerts turned on. That's why you want the app. And that's why you want to check out these bets early. If you like the bets, great. If you don't like them, you ignore them. You move on with your life. You're an adult. And when you do that, at least you didn't miss out on potential opportunity. Nothing worse than seeing what the bet is 5 days late because you waited your ass till Saturday morning to check it out. But that is his underdog lock of the week. He got it at great odds. Still okay odds, especially for the circumstance. We have a minus 1,100 favorite, and you can get the under at minus 140. I think that's still decent. Then another bet here from, I think this is Jacob's bet, Joanderson Brito, first round KO TKO, and that's at plus 450. Those are honestly spectacular odds, and that's a flyer bet, right? You don't fully expect it to hit, so you only put 20 bucks on it, or a quarter of a unit, the 10th of a unit, whatever you want to do. And if it does hit, you get a great payout. And if it doesn't, it's okay. It's one of several of those big plus money prop bets that are kind of flyers. Pedro Falcao bet on the board. I believe that's from BetSam, plus 165 there. He has a half of a unit. Obviously, those odds aren't quite where they were, but he is still plus money. And then this is actually my favorite bet that isn't mine on the board. Talita Alencar win inside the distance, decision, no action. That's minus 115. This is the same logic, if we go back in time, the same logic that I had when I did the Reese McKee bet. Talita Alencar is kind of dangerous, honestly, on her side with the submissions, and she's very durable, and her opponent is not dangerous. This is a spectacular bet. Worst case scenario, in my mind, Jacob's going to get a full refund on that bet. Best case, she wins by finish and he gets paid out at minus 115. Again, 27 total units of bets on the board right now. 5 of those units are dedicated to future events, UFC 314, UFC 315, UFC Kansas City. Check out every single one of those bets and all of our tools right now at WeWantPicks.com. And finally, go check out Bet Openly. They are not a sportsbook. They're not a casino. They don't care who wins or loses. All they do is facilitate bets between different human beings in different parts of the country or different parts of the world. And because they're not a sportsbook, because they don't need you to lose to stay in business, they pass those odds on to you. A casino, a sportsbook, builds margin. What's an even fight at a sportsbook? Minus 110, minus 110. That's 20% margin in there. And that's so that doesn't matter what side wins, they will make money. But sportsbooks need you to lose to stay in business. Bet Openly is not a sportsbook. They don't need you to lose to stay in business. All they want is volume. The more people who use the app, the more people who use the platform, they take 1% of the winnings. So if you win $100, you get 99, they get $1, but all of the line savings goes on to you. If you go back to the very first slide of this, you will see the odds on Deone Barboza, minus 1,100 at Sportsbook, minus 750 at Bet Openly. That is a humongous gap. Check them out at betopenly.com or WeWantPicks.com/BetOpenly. And finally, we do have some affiliate partners. And if you go to WeWantPicks.com/bets and you sign up with any one of those partners, you'll go ahead and get $50. It's affiliate marketing. You're going to sign up. They're going to give us commission, and then we're going to slice off $50 and give it to you. That's WeWantPicks.com/bets. Sign up, make a deposit, we'll get you paid. Guys, good luck this weekend. It feels like a tricky fight card, but good luck to you. Go to the website, unlock premium membership. I thank every single one of you for every single thing you're doing for us.